If you want to see your little game expand into something vibrant and engaging, then you need to take feedback from the people who are playing. Hello party members, and welcome back to LARP 101, where I answer your questions about live action roleplay. Before we get into this week's question, I just want to give you a quick reminder that the UK LARP Awards nominations are still open and will be open until Wednesday, February 15th. If I'm wrong, the actual date will appear here. So if you are planning on nominating a LARP you have enjoyed this year, or a particular LARP runner or NPC who you think has done a fantastic job, or if you want to nominate a good piece of LARP media, or if you'd prefer not to nominate me, you could always nominate a bunch of these other people who also have amazing YouTube channels or podcasts or Twitch streams talking about the wonderful thing that is live action roleplay. Go nominate them as well, they're absolutely great. There is only a few weeks to get those back in, so make sure you go and do that now. The link is in the description box below. All right, no more stalling. Let's get back on to the question. So one of the LARPs I do is very small, and I've been trying to find ways to get in new blood. We've done flyers and booths at small conventions, but the ones that do show up rarely stick around. It has events every other week at a local park. Just trying to get ideas to increase player retention. Okay, now I just want to stress that I've never run a LARP. So I am speaking completely from the point of view of a player, and what would be something that would put me off going back to a new LARP game or system that I've tried. Now, to get some clarity, I did ask a couple of questions of this particular viewer just to get a little bit more insight about what their LARP is like. But the set of circumstances that they have are not unique to them and can be applied to lots of different games. So if you are struggling to retain players at your LARP, do keep in mind that not all LARP systems are the same as yours, but keep in mind that some of this information is still going to be relevant to you. Now, this particular viewer mentions that their LARP is held in a public park. I can see the appeal of a public park. They are free, they're easy to get to, and most people who are attending them know where they are. I would personally very much struggle with going to a LARP in a public park. And that is because I am a really, really nervous and easily embarrassed little person who hates being observed doing basic day-to-day tasks, let alone LARP. I actually mentioned this in my Hawkeye video, that I was really impressed that they were just LARPing on a public, footpath in the middle of Central Park. You couldn't pay me to LARP in the middle of a park. Some people are just private people, and that means that they are not comfortable necessarily role-playing or swinging swords out in public, and that's okay. But when you're picking a venue for your LARP, that is something you should be keeping in mind, because you are asking someone to essentially pretend to be somebody else, kind of like we did when we were little kids, and that's fine. We all love LARP. We're all okay with doing that. Just sometimes we're not uncomfortable doing it in front of other people. So I would always recommend that if you can hire somewhere private to do a LARP, then do so. If you can find somewhere free and private, even better. I would not recommend doing it in, let's say, your own home, especially if you're inviting strangers to come LARP with you. That would put me off even more than the park. I was going to some stranger's house to role play. If I don't know you, I would feel incredibly unsafe. So I would always recommend that you hire somewhere private, but not necessarily, someone's private property. If you're comfortable doing a LARP inside, village halls are always great, or, community centres. If you're looking for somewhere more outdoorsy, scout camps, they're great. They're easily insured because they expect to have a large number of people on site. And frankly, they expect it to get a bit chaotic because scouts in general are rather chaotic. They do a lot of outdoor activities. They create a massive mess. They'll tidy up again after themselves as well, so make sure you do that. But it means that a lot of the things that you would possibly need for a LARP, like hidden shelters or a room with running water, that will be available to you on Scout Camp. So see if you can hire somewhere like that. Now, one other thing this viewer did mention to me is that the number of regular players they have at this LARP is quite few. They have a set of regulars between 5 to 12 players. For a LARP that is advertising at a convention, I would be quite jarred to come and find 5 to 12 players playing. At an advertised convention, I would be expecting 20 to 30 people as a minimum. Games can be quite exclusive, but if I get there and there's only 5 people, my first thought would be, why do people not want to stick around with this game? So keep that in mind if you're planning on any advertising at all. If you are presenting a level of professionalism, people will come expecting a professional game. And part of that is an expanded player base. So what I would advise is that you create a game just as a one-off. So literally one-shot game, and go at it hard with space for about 30 people. And really, really advertise that. If you can fill a single one-shot game and run that well, people will be more inclined to go to a game that is being run by you on a regular basis. If you try and get people to come in on a game that's already been running regularly, but there's only 5 people there, people will automatically assume that there's something wrong, even if that's not true. So make sure the level of professionalism that you're showing out of game is also matching in game. Now, I understand neither of these things are really ideal if you're starting a new LARP or if you're quite a small LARP, because they generally involve the investment of money. And money is not a thing that many people running LARPs generally have. This is a hobby that is generally run on a labour of love. We invest a lot of money in it and yet reap very little money from it as well. There are very few companies out there that run games exclusively and professionally and therefore make a profit. I believe that we do need to start treating LARP as a business venture as opposed to just a simple hobby. I can go into that in a whole other video, but my point is that if you want to see a positive investment from players and you want to see a positive investment as a collective, then you're going to have to find yourself putting money into your game. But do keep in mind that some of that cost can be put onto your players as well. People do expect to pay money to attend LARP, not just to buy their kit and to buy their weapons, but to actually get tickets as well. If you look at massive LARPs like Beakerline or Empire, people pay money to go to these things, and that is because they expect a level of quality. So if you want to produce a good quality of LARP, it is not unreasonable for you to put some of that cost onto your players in the form of a ticket cost. And also keep in mind that as you become more experienced and you learn how to produce higher quality games, not only will you have more people sticking around, you will have more people sticking around who are willing to pay more money to invest in those higher quality games. The last thing I would absolutely recommend if you're trying to increase player retention at your games is create a feedback form. And this should be supplied to not only your regular players, but also be supplied to any player who attends your game, even if they only attend once. And they should be encouraged to be very honest with it, which means you're going to need to make it anonymous. Because some people don't like giving negative feedback if their names are tied to it. And you're going to get some probably very negative feedback. But that's okay. You need to know what's going wrong so you know how to improve. And the thing is, there may be stuff that you are not even aware going on in your game. There is always the possibility that you, for instance, may have a player who is not adhering to your code of conduct and you're simply not aware of it. That needs to be fed back to you so you know that and so you can deal with it. There could be other aspects of the game that people just don't find appealing, and that needs to be fed back to you as well so you know how to deal with that and possibly how to change or improve it. If you want to see your little game expand into something vibrant and engaging, then you need to take feedback from the people who are playing. So no matter what LARP you run, whether it's big, whether it's small, there should always be opportunities to provide feedback, whether that be an email address, whether that be a Google form, a Microsoft form, doesn't matter. Make it anonymous so that people can be honest, and essentially just take it all and channel it into something better. And it may take a while, it may take a few months, it may take a few years. But if you work hard and take on that feedback, it won't be that long before you really see results. And your little game can become something big and interesting and thriving. So I hope that helps. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on the next episode of LARP 101. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on a battlefield soon.